Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Before the Four. I'm digital host A.J. Wuest, and whether you're watching Before the Four today on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, as always, I have to thank you for watching and spending just a little bit of your Monday afternoon here. Now, let's begin with the weather, as we saw a range of severe and scary situations all across the Tennessee Valley this weekend. Saturday night, tornadoes were confirmed to have hit Franklin County, Tuscumbia, and Marshall County, and now a cold front is on the way. But let's turn it over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for a look at the forecast for this week. Brad?
As we go through the next 24 hours, we got another big change coming in the weather. Temperatures right now in the 40s out there this Monday afternoon, but we're looking at a wintry mix coming in. This is going to be after midnight tomorrow night through about 9 o'clock in the morning Wednesday. We've got a first alert weather day for that and the really cold air coming in behind it. Keep in mind, there may be a lot of sleet with this too, in addition to some snowfall. We've got a dusting in white, about 1 to 2 inches possible the closer you are to the Tennessee state line. Again, this is going to be a real close call. Just keep in mind, it doesn't take a lot of snow or sleet around here to cause travel issues on area roads, especially considering this is coming in during the middle of the night. It's dark and it won't get out here until about 9 a.m. So here's kind of the setup just after midnight. That's 2, 3 in the morning. We have temperatures at or below freezing. The ground temperatures, the road surfaces will probably be below freezing. So it's possible we could see some icy spots with the sleet and snow as early as, say, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It's going to stay cloudy all afternoon, so I don't anticipate a fast melt with this. We'll be out of here by 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe a few flurries after that. But I think, so to speak, the damage will already be done probably by the time you wake up in the morning. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. But for this afternoon, we're in the 40s. It's cloudy over the next 3 days, 36 for the high. But if we get a snowpack, we'll likely stay below freezing for Wednesday. And we start Wednesday morning around 16 with a wind chill below 0. And the high will stay below freezing. But sunshine on Thursday will help thaw those roads out if they do start to freeze up. We'll continue to monitor this for the rest of the week.
And staying in weather, in case you missed it, let's recap some of the damage we saw out in the shoals this weekend. 48 Savannah SAP went out to Rogersville to cover some of the damage out there. Take a look.
On College Street, this roof of a nearby business pummeled a recycling center in town. These are photos of a home on Davis Road near Second Creek where trees caused damage to a couple's home. Over on Hudson Street, Christopher Knox says he was in his home when the storms came through early Sunday morning. He says he stepped outside to check on the commotion from the wind when he knew something big was coming.
About 3 steps after that, power went out and heard a branch break. I don't know what happened, but we just took shelter and did what we could do.
This morning, Knox came out of his home to nearly a dozen large trees, narrowly missing his home.
I mean, we're just grateful when we made it through and there wasn't any other damage on that end.
Knox's family and neighbors quickly rushed in to help clear the trees from his yard and his driveway, a common gesture in his small community.
Everybody's pretty friendly. We're all willing to reach a hand out and all that. So, I mean, it was just nice to have somebody offer and not expect anything from us.
You know, it's the thing about the southern towns and most any towns, small towns especially, we're resilient and people help each other out.
Mayor Richard Hurston says crews within the city and county are actively working to clear debris and restore power. He says he's thankful that no Rogersville resident was injured.
It's widespread damage, but you know, it could be a lot worse. So, you know, nobody was really hurt, and so I'm really thankful for that.
Well, the National Weather Service has had boots on the ground today just assessing the damage here. They have not released any details at this time as to what may have caused this damage, but as soon as we know, we will keep you up to date on air and online. In Rogersville, I'm Savannah Sapp, 48 News, on your side.
Well, now into Tuscumbia, 48's Aria Pons reports.
A small city took a big hit on Saturday. An EF1 tornado swept through Tuscumbia with wind speeds of over 100 miles per hour, ripping off roofs from businesses and tipping trees over left and right.
Everybody says that it sounds like a train. It does sound like a train.
David Jeffries lives on Mulberry Street in Tuscumbia. Just on his block alone, he estimates at least 10 big trees have fallen, 3 of them into his neighbors' homes.
So the wind got really, really crazy sounding, and there's this big whooshing, rushing sound, and just grab up the kids and go downstairs to the basement, and you could hear everything falling all over the place.
Several crews from all across northwest Alabama came to Tuscumbia in order to help clean up and get power back online. As of now, officials like EMA Director Jody Hitt say that power won't be back in downtown Tuscumbia for a few days.
The Sheriff's Department agreed to lock down the city for our utilities to start working. I mean, we still got big trees and lines in these trees, power lines, so avoid this area at least another day or two.
Most of the first responders have yet to stop working on clearing roads, fixing the electricity issue, and cleaning up the damage from the tornado. But luckily, there are no reports of any serious injuries here in Tuscumbia.
As far as I can tell, I don't think anybody's been hurt. It's just property damage and stuff, and that's rough. But just you can replace a house. You can't replace people.
Hitt says it'll take a few days before they're able to clean up the damage from the tornado here behind me. He says that volunteers should be able to come help in a few days, but as of right now, it's just too dangerous. Reporting in Tuscumbia, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
And we'll have Aria join us on Before the Four coming up to follow up on the storm damage she's seeing out there today, along with the cleanup efforts. But now, staying in the shoals, let me pull this up for you all. The Lawrence Medical Center in Moulton has announced a partnership with the Huntsville Hospital Health System. Now, the Medical Center Board concluded after a study of challenges and financial pressures, it was decided that it would stop providing inpatient care and close the emergency department to modernize outpatient facilities. Officials say to keep an enhanced service in Lawrence County, the board voted to free up the financial resources to update outpatient facilities and focus on the needs of many outpatients. Officials say to accomplish this long term, the authority will engage in a 40-year lease agreement with Huntsville Hospital Health System. This is to operate those outpatient services. But now in a bit of national news, earlier today we learned that a Delta Airlines flight crashed at Toronto Pearson International Airport this afternoon. The flight, which took off from Minneapolis around 11:47 this morning, appears to have landed upside down, according to photos and videos we've seen. Television news reports say that the plane that arrived from Minneapolis flipped over upon landing. Reports currently say that up to 8 people were injured, but there was no report of the extent of those injuries. And stay tuned to our evening newscast for any updates we may have on this situation coming up. But now in Huntsville, where earlier today we learned that Alabama A&M football legend Henri Jackson has passed away. Jackson, who graduated from A&M in the 1960s, was the first black quarterback from a predominantly black college to be drafted onto a professional football team. He was drafted to the then Boston Patriots in 1967. Now this according to Alabama A&M's website. Jackson died last Thursday at the age of 78. His funeral arrangements have not yet been announced, and my thoughts are certainly with his family. But now, as part of Black History Month, 48's Margot Gray tells us about a historic first for the state of Alabama this year. 2 black Alabamians are now serving in the House of Representatives for the first time ever. Margot Gray with the details.
Congratulations, you are now members of the 119th Congress.
With that swearing-in ceremony, Representative Shamari Figures joined Congresswoman Terry Sewell in representing Alabama. Sewell is a 7-term member of the House from Selma. She is also the only black woman ever elected to serve in Congress from Alabama.
It is an honor of a lifetime for me to represent my home district.
Sewell is now joined by newly elected District 2 Congressman Shamari Figures of Mobile.
And so I am excited to be able to have him as one of my colleagues.
Figures says it was humbling to walk onto the House floor, knowing he becomes one of only 7 black Alabama residents ever elected to serve in the House.
I mean, walking on that chamber floor for the first time, it really comes down on you. How many people paved the way for you to be there? How many people made the sacrifice for you to be there? How many people supported you and gave you that backing, that inspiration?
Both Figures and Sewell are Democrats. Both say they're in Washington to serve Alabama, not just black people.
I'm here to fight for more resources and better opportunities for the amazing people of Alabama.
That fight for Figures is focused on health care. He wants to make sure Washington can help his district, which has been hit hard by hospital closures in rural communities.
So we really want to focus on trying to bring that infrastructure investment into those communities and trying to bring those federal dollars there to bolster those communities.
This 119th Congress has 136 people of color, 4 fewer than the previous House and Senate, which was most ethnically and racially diverse in history.
Now, coming up after the break, we'll be chatting with 48's Aria Pons live from Tuscumbia, a fun thing to do in Huntsville this weekend, and just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss. It's all ahead. I'll see you all after the break. Well, hello and welcome back to Before the Four. Now I'm joined with 48's Aria Pons live from Tuscumbia. Aria, thank you so much for joining. Today you've been following up on the tornado damage from this weekend, along with the cleanup efforts. Aria, how is everything looking out there today?
Lot better out here. Yesterday, when you first came out to assess the damage, it was trees everywhere. They were down on the ground. They were down in houses. On one block, there were 3 trees in 3 separate houses. Now, some of those houses were rental houses, but still, it's insane to see how much damage there is. But today, it's definitely way more cleaned up. You can see here behind me, like, this roof was completely down yesterday. The lamppost is still down. That's why officials say to stay out of downtown Tuscumbia, but it's getting a lot better. A lot of people are out and about with chainsaws. They're cleaning. Neighbors are helping neighbors. It's really, it's kind of really nice to see how close the Shoals community is with each other, even if they don't know each other.
Yes, absolutely. It's great to see the community really rallying together through this hardship. But did anyone mention how long it might take to get everyone affected by this weekend storm back on their feet?
It's always going to vary, you know, with storms like this. It depends on where they were located, where the tornado touched down, how fast the wind speeds were. In downtown, they're saying it might take a few days. They're trying to get power back on tonight on Main Street, especially because there are just so many businesses here. A lot of people have taken to Facebook to say, you know, support local businesses once they pop back up, pop in, say hello. I know that some of the businesses around Main Street, they're open now, but it'll just take a while. Everyone has power, thankfully. The trees will take a while to, you know, get cleaned up. Officials say to make sure that you put your debris and your trees at the end of the road so that they can pick it up. They're not allowed to come on your property, but it will take probably a month for people who have trees in their homes. I spoke with one person who had a tree in his home, and he said that they're coming tomorrow to get a crane in to get the tree out. So he's hoping it's done and finished by Wednesday when the snow could possibly hit, when Brad said. So it's really just going to depend on where you are, what damage you have, and all of that.
Right, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned the snow that's coming in Wednesday. How might that weather expected later this week impede, I guess, the cleanup process?
Oh my goodness. If what's expected is going to happen, it's not going to be devastating, but it is going to be really rough for people who don't have roofs right now, right? So like R.E. Thompson, the intermediate school in Tuscumbia, that their roof was kind of pulled off. I was speaking with the superintendent yesterday. He said that the membrane that keeps the water out of the school, like from the roof, that was torn off. So if this comes in and they don't have a tarp over, thankfully roof workers have been working very diligently, so I'm sure they do have a tarp over it. But for people who don't have a tarp over their home right now on their roofs, it could be just devastating to their homes because that's what's blocking it out. But I'm sure a lot of people are getting out there today. The EMA has buckets, nails, tarps, extra if you need it. A lot of people are at the stores, so it'll be interesting to see, but it'll definitely slow the cleanup process down because you can't do much when it's wet and cold outside like that.
Right, absolutely. Well, Aria, thank you so much. It's great to see the community out there rallying together and making some work on the cleanup process there. But Aria, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, AJ.
Perfect. All right, so now moving on to national politics on this President's Day. President Trump and his administration, specifically Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, not slowing down in the quest to downsize the federal government. Over the weekend, thousands of federal employees learned they no longer have jobs. And today, amid a recent spell of plane crashes lately, the administration firing workers at the Federal Aviation Administration. NBC with the latest details.
On this day, to honor past presidents, demonstrators took to the streets to protest the man currently in the White House, speaking out against the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency, the office created to reduce what President Trump calls government waste.
They're hardworking civil servants, like all the federal workers are. And, you know, they don't deserve to be treated like that.
Over the weekend, more than 300 Federal Aviation Administration employees received termination notices just weeks after 2 fatal plane crashes. And the latest target? The Internal Revenue Service. An IRS employee affiliated with DOGE is expected to seek access to a system with sensitive taxpayer information. The administration says the worker has the necessary security clearance. Critics say it should not be an individual making these changes.
I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, and I think most of the country agrees with me that perhaps the federal bureaucracy has gotten too big. Where I have an issue is that someone probably shouldn't be Elon Musk. That someone should be Congress.
Today, a federal judge heard arguments from 14 states asking to block Elon Musk and DOGE from making personnel decisions about government workers. Judge Tanya Chutkin said she would rule on the state's case within 24 hours. Meanwhile, the president taking to social media, showing words of approval from various conservative media outlets and touting what his administration has done so far.
This country has made more progress in the last 3 weeks than it's made in the last 4 years.
In what could be a test for the Supreme Court, the Trump administration is asking justices to overturn a lower court ruling that reinstated a fired government watchdog. Earlier this month, the Trump administration fired the head of the Office of Special Counsel. He is a Biden appointee and claimed he was fired illegally. In Washington, Yamiche Alcindor, NBC News.
Well, now if you're looking to take part in a night of music for free $99 this weekend, maybe you want to listen to a little bit of classic rock with a little bit of Motown in the mix, look no further than Huntsville's Electric Bell. The Zooks are coming out to jam this weekend. And today I had the pleasure of having 2 original band members, Randy Razook and Bill DeCoster, come into the station to chat it up with me for 48 Now. Take a listen to a little of the band's rich history. Talk a bit about the history. Take me back to the year 2000 when the band was just forming.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, back in 2000 when we started on Kwajalein in the Marshall Islands, we were asked by the local radio station, their AFRTS, the Armed Forces Radio Television Station, to come and do an interview in their station of an up-and-coming band in the Marshall Islands. So Billy and I went and did that interview 25 years ago. And here we are again doing another one.
Right.
25 years later for this one. But yeah, we started on in February 2000 on the island, and it's a funny story because the Zooks never would have happened if it wasn't for another band on the island. Because there was another band on the island. They lost their rhythm guitar player. And I asked, look, I've been playing rhythm guitar for 30 years, I'd like to fill in and all, and they turned me down. They said, no, we're going to do it alone. I said, okay, I'll just start my own band and we'll get things going. So we started the Zooks up, and yeah, they had a hard time getting jobs after that. But
that's awesome.
We played music that the people wanted to hear, Motown, classic rock, all the good stuff. And we're still doing a lot of the same songs today.
Yeah. Right.
That's right, the Zooks, a Saturday night at the Electric Bell. You're just not going to want to miss it, the 25-year anniversary celebration. But now moving on to the good side, where today, every year, thousands of teens age out of the foster care system across the country. That means they turn 18 without having a permanent place to live. And in Arizona, a nonprofit is building a new community, creating homes for shipping containers for them. But it's what you can't see that's helping shape their future. Local News Live's JD Wallace shows us how this community is taking shape.
The young men and women who will live in these homes built from shipping containers will have a roof over their heads, but they'll also have someone by their side as they navigate their new lives. Behind this door is a place for change, beyond creating a home from old shipping containers.
And that's why it's called holistic transformation. We don't just want to work on their physical needs. We want to address their mental, emotional needs. We want to address their spiritual needs.
David Hughes explains how holistic transformation, changing hearts, minds, communities, will provide an environment where 10 young adults aging out of foster care will live with the help of 2 navigators, similar to himself.
People can't put in the amount of time that it takes to build long-term relationship and trust with young people. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to set up a mentorship program that is a long-term commitment. We're trying to set up these navigators that live on site with these young people to let them know we're here for the long haul.
This first home, built from 2 20-foot containers side by side, shows how each of the 12 units will offer independence for its resident and opportunities to customize the cabinets and furniture. But as development moves along, the search also continues for residents and staff.
We're looking for mentors that want to invest in young people's lives, and we're also building trust with group homes, and we have relationship with DCS.
Building this community continues to require planning so that the homes and the residents are ready at the same time.
It's going to take a lot of money, it's going to take a lot of effort. At the very core of it, at the very heart of it, is just a desire to love and help people.
The plan for the remaining 11 homes is to have this community up and running in less than a year, January 2026. Reporting from Midtown, JD Wallace, 13 News.
Now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. A look at the storm damage cleanup today in Marshall County and the Shoals. We'll have team coverage on that coming up. And another story you're just not going to want to miss, a new Alabama bill that would require public spaces to install changing tables for those with disabilities. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. And now it is that time. It is, of course, time for Facebook Fun. What one thing do you hope to accomplish this week? And let's hear it. Tina said, build a snowman. You can do that Wednesday, Tina. That would be incredible. Me personally, I'm kind of hoping not to do that because I think I prefer hot weather or warm weather. But, you know, if it happens, it happens. Tina, thank you so much. Leslie said, get through the icy weather, of course, kind of going off of Tina's comment there. Diana said, make it to work on time. That is a goal, for me every day, I have to say. Diana, thank you so much. Jen said, make someone else's life just a little bit easier. 100%. Love that comment. And then Paige said, I hope to successfully potty train my 2-year-old this week. Wish me luck. Paige, best of luck. I know that is not an easy task. But that is it for today's Before the 4. I want to thank you all for sticking around and spending a little bit of your Monday afternoon here. I hope you all have a great night. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all have a great night.